Okay, and back. Okay. Hello receivers, I'm the Signal, and this is a video reply to my friend 2 Steps Ahead Gaming first try at Kerbal Space Program. He built a ridiculously simple spaceship that he called the Wagon. Let's see. Ignore all the special parts. I have B9 Aerospace because real men play with B9. Let's see. I forget if it was 2 or 3 of these rocket maxes. We'll see. I'll know whenever I try. There's a screw. Try to slap on some leathers over in structural. Again, you have to ignore all the B9 Aerospace parts. I'm not using them. Oh yeah, first off, the Swag Wagon had a couple of design errors. He did not stick a stack separator between his cockpit and his stuff. I forget if he put SAS or not. So, let's see. And he had 4. Solid rocket. That was only 2. Alright, well, throw that away. Let's see, he probably used the mainsail. Actually, 1 second. Alright, yes indeed, it was a mainsail. Alright, now then, let's see, what else did he have? Utility, he had a small rechargeable battery, aerodynamic, nose cones. Oh, come on, don't be like that. Fine. I'll go no symmetry. Stick them on freaking manually. Alright, now then. Another issue that he had is he didn't actually attach his solid rocket boosters to the decouplers. They were kind of offset, so whenever he tried to decouple them, they didn't. Alright, and actually, you know what? I'm gonna set that off to the side, and I'm gonna change something. I'm sorry, this is just gonna make it so much better, Aaron. Let's see. First off, I need to stick that parachute on. Let's see, it was this. Big parachute. Alright, actually there are several things wrong. For one, he used a spaceplane cockpit. So yeah. Now then, let's see, what was I going to do? Oh yeah. Structural, back through all the B9 Aerospace parts to the decoupler, and I'm only going to do 2 times symmetry. Why, you ask? Because asparagus staging. Behave. That's a good thing. Alright. So for those of you who don't know, asparagus staging is having rockets that don't fire all at once. Just set that there. And now I have this. So, in this case, instead of having... that's off-center. Instead of having 4 solid rocket boosters that go off all at once, 2 of them are going to go off, behave. And then 2 more. The other 2 will go off. So I have to come down here into staging and that down there. No, that's wrong. That's not what I wanted to do at all. So stick that there. And that's just that. Wait, what? Huh? Did I fail at something? I don't know. Alright, so the first stage is going to be those. No, I just need that. Second stage. Let's see, is going to be an immediate transfer over to that. And then the third stage is going to be like that. Alright, and I think that that's everything. Let me check again. Okay, mission success. We have recreated the Wagon. Alright, now let's see if I can get this into orbit, because the whole goal of this entire adventure is me getting the Wagon into orbit. Alright, first off, SAS is on. Throttle up. Oh, do I not have enough thrust? I don't have enough thrust. Alright. Mainsail it is. Well, they're gonna die, so I'm gonna revert. No, wait, cancel. Revert flight to the vehicle assembly building. Alright, so what I think happened there is my asparagus staging didn't asparagus, so I'm just gonna ditch that whole idea. Basic radial decoupler, 4x symmetry. Okay, and propulsion. Four big solid rocket boosters. Aerodynamics. Nifty nose cones. And that's a Wagon. Alright. So this is no asparagus staging. Alright. Let's see. Just different stages on the main solid rockets. Let me turn down the audio. Okay. That ought to make it a little bit easier. Okay, and now you ought to be able to actually hear me for a change. Mainsails drink fuel, but they have so much thrust. Alright, I think that I'm actually going to be able to get this into a low Earth orbit. Well, low Kerbal orbit, excuse me. And I too have Bill, Jebediah, and Bob Kerman aboard. Alright, now then. I've reached the point where I begin my gravity turn, and I am gravity turning in the wrong direction. So I cant myself about 45 degrees. And I start to burn horizontal around 10 to 15,000 kilometers up. And I kind of did that a bit late and wasted a lot of delta V by fishing around in other directions. But let's actually cut back the throttle because I am in orbit and I want to have enough fuel to actually bring this back down. Maybe. Let's see. I'm not gonna have enough fuel to bring her back down. But she went up. She went up, and she almost got into a proper orbit. I bet you that if I redid this, I could get it into a proper orbit. Well, actually, because they're going to come back down, I'm going to go ahead and time accelerate. Oh, fine. I have no fuel. What do you mean? Fair. Time accelerate up to 50 times. 1,000. And then back down. Let's say 50 until I start getting much closer. What I'm gonna do is I'm coming down on the dark side. This isn't gonna be very impressive because it's so dark. 1 second actually. Let me get the lights on. Does this have any lights? I don't have any lights. And I'm dropping rapidly into the atmosphere. You get the nice re-entry effects. And rapidly slowing, rapid increase in G-force. I'm gonna bring it back down to normal time accel. And I'm only going about 1 kilometer per second right towards this mountain ridge. I'm going too fast to deploy a chute. Screw it. There we go. Just launched my after element at a mountain at about 1 kilometer per second. I think that they clipped through. What? What? No, that was a good landing. That was a good landing. It's not my fault there's a bad collision mesh on these mountains. You hear me? Not my fault. Okay, now then. Take 2 of the Wagon launch. I need to correct that, and it's way too loud. Why is it way too loud? I turned the sound off. Okay. Things are going very, very good. Throttle back a touch, don't have to worry about it. temperatures for the acceleration phase. This doesn't work, I'll probably switch over to a skipper engine for the orbital insertion phase. There we go. I'm at 5,000 meters and rising. I think this might need more SAS torque. Ah, yes, it is time for the gravity turn. Alright, the basic premise of a gravity turn which I failed at in the last video, is to accelerate sideways because you are not trying to escape gravity, you are trying to fall and miss the Earth. Alright, so I need to build up X amount of speed for a certain height to successfully fall and miss the Earth. And I'm gonna run out of fuel before I do it. Alright, so while I get an impressive amount of height, the Wagon is simply not capable of successfully reaching orbit. So yes, it would be a failure. I'm sorry, Aaron. As it is, the Wagon will never reach orbit. So I'm gonna go ahead and revert this to the vehicle assembly building. I'm gonna install my mod. My mod is going to simply be removing that massively overpowered mainsail engine and replacing it with the dainty skipper engine, which is still three times the power of a standard LVT-30. Yes. Yes. Alright, so that will provide us with more than enough thrust, hopefully, and enough fuel efficiency, hopefully, to get us into orbit. Sometimes bigger isn't always better. Alright, and launch. Okay. I'll immediately jump off the pad. And wrestle desperately to stop the spin. Steadily. I forget which way is up. Which button's up? No, I'm losing my thrust vector. Why do you do this sometimes? Why do you do that? I did not hit that many times. Did I fail in the staging? I failed in the staging, didn't I? Yes, I did. No. Just, no. You pushed the wrong button, Jeb. Or maybe it was Bob. So I'm sorry. Just like... goodbye. Alright, so I'm gonna revert this to launch and see if it is indeed me forgetting to check the staging again. No? No, I just don't have any idea what happened. So, yeah. Strangely enough, it appears to fly in a straighter line whenever I don't have the ASAL. No, it doesn't. Alright. Let's back to wrestling desperately against. This game are rolled, and I am desperately trying to prevent it from doing that when I don't want it to. Hey, staging worked! I am halfway to my gravity burn. Now that I finally have thrust vectoring, I can finally get back in a proper vertical trajectory. Until I hit the point where I actually need to do said gravity burn. Now that I'm actually going to start this just a touch lower than I normally do. Now then, the Rocket Max is proving to be, the Skipper rather, is proving to be sufficient, if not wonderful, for this spaceship. It's still a tad juice hungry, but really, these tanks are just meant for giving you just a tiny bit more fuel whenever one of the massive orange tanks is just too much. One of the tiny swimming pool wannabe tanks is just too little. Or for a nuclear transit stage, which I will be showing inside the next video that I will upload, which actually was recorded quite a while ago. I'm gonna drop this down. To increase efficiency a touch. I need to get at least 40,000 to be properly out of the atmosphere. I don't think that the Skipper's going to be capable, the swag wagons might not be capable of reaching orbit. I have my hopes. I might get one successful orbit, but I'm thinking that if I do manage that small feat, I'm going to throttle down further. Alright, I am properly out of the atmosphere now, so I am going to go pure horizontal. And hope that I can stretch this into at least one orbit, and I think I can. This is going to be a highly eccentric orbit, though. I do believe that I'm going to have just enough fuel to stick it into an aerobraking orbit. So this will even naturally deorbit itself Boom! We have an orbit. Now then, that wouldn't be a sustainable orbit. I need to get it to, I think, 30,000, and it'll be aerobraking, which means that I'll hit the atmosphere. I'll hit the atmosphere, and that'll slow me down, and I will naturally deorbit. That's right. With one simple modification of using a slightly less overpowered engine, I successfully created an orbit with a spaceship that uses spaceplane parts. So I am going to go back out and time accelerate. And that is the Wagon in orbit. Accelerating slowly away from Kerbal. And just check my periaps real quick. Hasn't raised or dropped any. That's wonderful. So I have the tiniest sliver of fuel left. This, I think I might have to make more than one pass the atmosphere to slow down enough that I actually haven't quite reached periaps yet. But I'm coming there, but yes, I think that this is going to be a multiple pass proposition. But I probably have enough. Ooh, right over the volcanic island. There's nothing there. Yes, there we go. Proper aerobraking. Let's see if I can't get this to skip a bit. No, I don't think it wants to. But I could have very easily raised this out of the gravity well and done a successful orbit with it. Alright, just gonna pop that loose. Hopefully this parachute won't explode. Because I am impressed. I need to turn off SAS so I don't rip my parachute off. And I need to stop time accelerating because the parachute's gonna snap open any second now, and time acceleration causes things to explode. Alright. An almost complete orbit, almost completely successful as well. And clip errors. Clippers kill us again. It says that it's green. Apparently it's thinking that it's landing about 800 meters up. For some weird reason in this area. Because the other mountains, if I'm right, that I crashed on, that it was night, blast. Just close. The other mountains that I think I crashed on are over here. Or they might have... no, they were here. Yeah, here. I can't show you. It won't let me. Free camera's not free enough. But in this area. So I have no idea why. It might be because it's a space plane part instead of an actual spaceship part. So yeah. But I'm going to count that as a successful orbit on my part. Even though it wasn't technically a total orbit, I had just a sliver of fuel that would have allowed me to push it up past 40,000 kilometers. 40,000? I think that's right. But push it up out of the atmosphere proper, but I would not have had enough fuel to deorbit the craft. So yeah. Going to go revert flight to vehicle assembly. So I I still have Jeb, Bob, and Bill. Because they're the most important, and I never use anyone else, and if they die, I just revert, no matter how much work I've had into it. Except for that one interplanetary spaceship. That was just too much to revert. But that was back before death was permanent, so, yeah. Well, that's it for today.